So, a very hearty welcome to the lovely audience to Marathon 2020. Ishita this side, one of the psychiatrists for this event, and I will be taking you all on a journey where we can gain an insight of several important life skills which are very necessary to live a happy and fulfilling life. As rightly said, today developing life skills is more important than learning core subject skills. So, I would like to welcome our guest speaker, Ms. Nandita Sharma, a psychological counselor and postgraduate teacher in English at DPS Duliajan, Assam. She is also registered trained counselor of NCRT and one of the recipients of Teacher Awards from our CBSE Guide and the Inspiring Citizens Award from ISR India, Bhubaneswar. Honored to have you, ma'am, here with us. And for the record, she will be discussing about perspective building on life skills.
Thank you so much, Ishita. So sweet of you. And thanks to the organizers for organizing such a wonderful program on this very, very special day. Yeah, the topic of discussion today is as perspective building of life skills. So before I go ahead with this topic, Ishita, I would like to ask you one question. Do you have any idea about life skills? Can you give your views
Uh,
about it?
Ma'am, I think that life skills are those skills which help us deal with the various challenges of life and to cope up and like to emotional well-being is like to maintain our emotional well-being and in different situations when we feel down, so it's like basically handling our life well in difficult situations and challenges.
Wonderfully said. Thank you so much. So with that, I start off. Basically, when we came to know about the life skills for the first time, it was the World Health Organization which brought forth it towards us, and definitely for the benefit of the children in particular. But I feel that everyone can take the benefit of this package of skills, what we call it.
Yeah.
It is something like this, like a life-saving drug. Like you are in an ICU, you are having some serious ailment, then how the life-saving drugs help you. If anyone, children in particular, but I won't exclude the elders also from the utilization or the knowledge of life skills in their own life. So it's like a wonderful package when you have a have a knowledge and idea of these life skills. So basically, I'm first and foremost going to give some insight into the perspective, what it is all about, a clear idea about it. So definitely, World Health Organization brought it for the first time. As I said, it's a
Yeah.
wonderful package. It's worth knowing, not only for the children, but for the adults as well. Now, what are they? They are, in a very simple language, adaptive and positive behavior. So that we have seen that it is very difficult to adapt ourselves at certain situations, where we find many obstacles or many areas where we find that it's a struggle to mingle. So this adaptive quality, then again, positivity in us. Sometimes we tend to see that we are surrounded by so much of negativity that we forget about what positivity is, what positive aura is. So these two are the
Yes, ma'am.
keywords when we talk about life skills. One is adaptive, and number two, the positive behavior. In which areas? In the physical area, in the mental area, in the emotional, physical, mental, emotional well-being of a person. So that is the basic thing. I won't go into details. Next comes, when we talk about life skills, what are those life skills that I'm mentioning about, or the life skill that World Health Organization has brought forth to us? They are basically 10 core life skills, which, if I say in
Yeah.
a sequence randomly, self-awareness, you can take it, then critical thinking, creative thinking,
Empathy.
Exactly, empathy, very good.
coping with
Problem solving,
stress,
coping with stress, see, coping with our emotions, interpersonal
communication.
communication.
Yeah.
Exactly. So these together, all these are the life skills. When we talk about see coping with stress during the COVID time, we have already and being the special day of being mental health day, issues that we are discussing. So coping with stress and coping with emotions is the need of the hour, where we
Yeah.
need to any age group, be it the students, be it our elders, be it seniors, everyone needs to have a wonderful way of equip oneself with the knowledge of how to cope with the stress that one is suffering
Mm.
from or the emotional upsets that one is suffering from. So this knowledge of life skills helps a lot. And before I go into it, one more thing. Previously, we used to deliver the knowledge of life skills, how, through the story of the Thirsty Crow. That is one of my favorite. Why Thirsty Crow? That in that story, through that story, beautifully, all the 10 core life skills can be explained in a nutshell very quickly. If I tell you, you must be also aware of that story of
Yeah.
the thirsty crow in your childhood
Yes.
years. Is it all right?
Yes.
Good. So
Yes.
now, you know what happens in that story. I need not say the thirsty crow comes being very thirsty. Self-awareness. So any problem that a person, irrespective of age, being a student also one suffers from, he should be aware first. So that goes to self-awareness. Whether crow was aware that I'm thirsty. So next, what happened in the story? That's critical thinking. How to solve the problem? How to resolve my issue? Looking here and there. So what he applied for the critical thinking? Creativity.
You put the
Creative
flow
without
into the
creative
conversation.
thinking, exactly.
Yeah.
Without creative thinking, it was not possible. So he found
Mhm.
pebbles here and there, and then through the pebbles, he just went near
Yeah.
the jar that was half filled with water.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it? So
Yeah.
see, again through this story, he tried to quench his thirst. But was he
Mhm.
successful? A bit no. Then what happened? He looked with the creative thinking, saw the pebbles, picked up the pebbles and put it into the jar. And the level
Yeah.
of the water came up. So what he was
Mhm.
doing, I have already talked about the application of self-awareness, the application
Mhm.
of critical thinking, application of creative thinking, problem solving. Problems, if it comes, it will not be solved if we keep on brooding problem. So we have to use our critical and creative thinking. Next, we also should, life skills teaches us to be our own decision makers. What did the crow do? He was his own decision maker. That if I do this, if I pick up the pebbles and put into the jar, then definitely the water level will come up. So he did not wait for somebody else. So decision making we can learn from there. Then dealing with emotions. I was thirsty. What to do? Emotions are there, restless, quenching of the thirst. So he dealt with his emotions so beautifully on his own self because he was aware. He was stressed up. Stressed up, why? Because quenching the thirst was the necessity at that point of time in the story that was being narrated. So he coped with stress with the application of critical thinking and creative thinking. So effective communication, maybe he have not talked with another person in the story, but self-communication here, what I want to stress, if you communicate with yourself also, half the job is done in certain situations. So self-communication, and as you have said, rightly said, Ishita, right now, yes, empathy. What is it?
Yeah.
Only the wearer knows where the shoe pinches, right? So there
Yeah.
he empathized with his own self. He could understand his condition and self-empathy and then did the needful action. And this is through the story we can beautifully summarize and explain to anyone the whole package of life skills. I hope I gave a fair
Yes,
idea of the perspective.
definitely, man. Wonderful introduction. And empathy you were talking about, so I was thinking that, like, people easily say that, oh, we know what you are going through, we know what you are going through, but actually it's very difficult to be in someone else's shoes. So,
Absolutely.
like, yeah. Now I will just proceed to the questions. You were talking about communication, and I believe it's one of the most empowering life skills. So my
Right.
question is that in today's generation, how it's
Mhm.
said that network is the net worth. So,
Hmm.
to build a strong network, one often requires good communication and interpersonal skills. So, as an introverted person like me, how can one be successful, in building a good network of friends?
Uh, a wonderful question, Ishita. When we come to introvert and extrovert, sometimes we feel that introvert is not a quality. It's something. It's a disqualification. But I
Yeah.
just do not agree with that. Why? Because everyone has got their own personality traits, and one goes ahead in their life and becomes successful, all having those traits in oneself. And when you say that, yeah, regarding this networking, see, there are, it's just because when a person has a wonderful communication skill, he's a good orator and he talks wonderfully, he's very, vocal, that doesn't mean that that person is necessarily a successful person. It's a wrong conception. Why I tell you? Because it is now, for example, to make you understand it better on the basis of the question that you have put forth. Animals, do they communicate with you verbally or vocally? But don't they understand, those who are pet lovers out here? The moment you enter in your house, the dog, the pet, doesn't it wag its tail? A welcoming, the way it will say that, yes, you're welcome, that you have been, my master has come. So, where did I talk? Did I talk with that animal? Did I talk with my doggy? I did not. But the gestures that the doggy or the animal has shown to me, I was not vocal. I did not communicate with him. But how did he understand my love? Or how did he understand what I wanted to communicate with him? Forget about the training part. But it is my non-verbal gestures. It is my the feeling through my gestures, by body language, that I had shown it to him. They understood. Similarly with human beings. So even if I'm not vocal, but the other person, I can communicate to the other person through my gestures, through my non-verbal gestures, through the work that I am doing, through the response that I am showing, through the wonderful behavior that I am displaying, to the nod that I am doing. There are so many ways to have to, broaden your network and relationship. Not necessarily that you should give a comment, you should talk, you should communicate. Yes, communication, effective communication is definitely an asset. One needs it. But that doesn't mean that if someone is less in that, he will not be able to progress in his network of friend circle.
Hmm.
Right?
Well answered, ma'am. Okay, my second question for you is that why should we accept and help others when there are so many people that take advantage of us and never give anything in return? It's related to empathy,
Okay.
like being empathetic.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, here you see, Shita, when I help others, it would not be okay if I have some expectations. Most of the problems crop up when we have expectations. I want something in return, right? So being a suppose me being a teacher, when I forget about that, it's my profession, I impart education to students and in return I get a salary. But will the salary will be in my mind all the time when I impart education? No. At the time I'm with my students, that becomes absolutely secondary. That
Mhm.
imparting and being with the students and giving my best to them, whatever knowledge I have, imparting it to them is enough for me. Without, yes, at that time, my expectation definitely is there that they do well. They secure not marks. Yes, but marks is the way we sometimes grade, but sometimes we also know may not be able to do well. But the child knows concepts are clear. That comes in this teaching learning process. But in other way, the question which you had asked me is sometimes, okay, I keep on helping, but there is nothing in return. What is this? It's absolutely natural to develop, to have some frustration during that point of time. So it is very important out here that when you are doing any help, I'm doing this dil se. I'm doing it from my heart. I'm doing it from within. If you can give me this, definitely I expect, my expectations are this. We have some barriers. If you can give it to me, nothing like it. A bingo comes here. But if you cannot, it's a food for thought. I would really feel
Yeah.
bad. So we can be very effective in our communication that way. Or maybe this is my expectation, this is what I am doing, but this is what I want in return. So beforehand, it will depend from situation to situation, circumstance to circumstances. Then definitely that expectation is okay. I'm doing this or this or this, but this is what I want in return. This is my expectation is. That's different. But if a friend or anyone is taking advantage of you, and you realize that no, the child is, or my friend is taking undue advantage of me, and every time I'm in a giving mode, and whenever I am in that situation to ask, he turns out to be a selfish individual, then you have to, the term I would use here is assertiveness. This much and no more. The barrier should be, one should know where to set the barriers.
Yeah. Perfect. So we all should just focus on keeping our boundaries.
Very true.
Okay.
Very.
So moving on to the next question. So there are some life situations when people intentionally try to bring one down and they like behave very inappropriately. So in such kind of situation, what do you think? One should choose to remain silent and use ignorance as a way to deal with it, or one should take their stand and answer back or fight back. So what will be your take on that?
This is very relevant to the present situation also at
Yeah.
times. Uh, Being a teacher, I always teach my students effective communication, and I also teach my students assertiveness. But when I
Mhm.
talk about assertiveness, very firmly and politely, these are the two keywords. Being assertive is a quality. Learning to say no is a quality. And but even if anything that you want to put your point forward or put across, but it should be very firmly and very politely. Now, coming again to your question once again, when you are being belittled and when you are being looked down upon, and you are feeling that first thing, the first thing is that how many times is this situation happening to me, or I'm a victim of this. Secondly, you have to analyze that is it the same person doing me, or is it many people at many situations and circumstances do it to me? Is it because of an influence of a peer group, the influence of the peer group for which they are also getting influence, and ultimately I'm becoming a victim? So all the pros and cons we have to think by applying life skills here. Everywhere Ishita, you cannot forget life skills. Self-awareness. Oh, I'm being belittled most of the time. It cannot be. Point number one. First and foremost, definitely, I would say that, to before we reach the win-win situation, that I need to keep quiet. I introspect. I think a little, not being reactive. Instantly being reactive can never, resolve the issue.
Yeah.
That is very
As
important
it
point.
said, we shouldn't react, we should respond.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that reacting to the situation is not the solution to the problem. So I need to think
Hmm.
about it. So again, see the life skills, my critical thinking. Why is it happening to me? Is it something that where I need to improve? Is it that something
Yeah.
where I am going wrong? Is it that is it something in my personality that others are being able to take advantage of me? So I need to do something about it. So your internal communication, self-communication, self-talk brings a lot of answer to this question that you have asked me. Then intensity.
Yeah.
What is the intensity? If I see from 0 to 10 scale, what is the intensity at which I'm being hurt? So you focus on the word intensity also. Number two, what is the utility? That I can ignore, it doesn't matter to me in any way. I listen through one ear and keep out to the other ear. That can be one way. And you may also think how much important this person is to me in my life. Every time he says it's okay, that person's pattern or type is such, I can always ignore. So So this question will depend from situation to situation, but definitely if you allow other persons to do that to you, you tend to lose your self-confidence and your self-esteem in the long run. So definitely once you realize that it is happening to you by the same person, deal with that person, or effective communication and say, this is not okay. I appreciate that you do it, but this is something I don't enjoy. With your peer groups, you can say that. But suppose it is happening to your boss, suppose, or by your teacher,
Yeah.
them too you cannot say anything because we have some
Yeah.
etiquettes we know, we have some value systems we have. Then
Yeah.
maybe that I would like to talk one to one. May I know where I went wrong? May I know why I am a victim of this? This is my maybe my feeling, this may be my thought process, but I would like to know the areas where I need to improve upon. And so through effective communication in a very matured way, first we need to think how to deal with it, why it is happening. Definitely it can be resolved, but it has to be resolved. Because if you keep it and it keeps on, accumulating, one day you will burst up, and you then develop cognitions, distorted, behavior in
Yeah.
yourself.
Cognitive
Never allow
distortion.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Someone is asking that, but isn't this something related to one's personality? So I just want to say to them, I don't think it's about personality. Like life skills are for everyone. Be it a person, who is very straightforward, who likes to answer back and get into fights, or be it a person who is conserved. Both of them should know what is the right way to respond or react in these kind of situations. So I don't think
Yeah.
personality is, yeah, because life skills like controlling your emotions, it comes under emotional intelligence, which I think everyone should acquire in their life.
Yeah, here I would like to add one more thing. See, it's both ways, but in many situations, the other person's perspective, you have got no hold to it. So many situations
Yes.
you can't change the other person. You can at least to deal with yourself. And this life skill with the self-awareness, with critical thinking, with decision making, with problem solving skills, you can definitely equip yourself how to deal with the same situation with the person being the same, but making the person realize through your way of dealing with it. That is
Yeah.
possible, definitely.
And it's very difficult to change someone else. So it's just better you change
Definitely.
yourself.
No. Yes, and deal with the situation accordingly, right?
Hmm. Yes. Okay, another question is that how can one acquire self-validation? Sometimes people criticize or treat me like, I mean, not me, someone actually, someone else's question that
Hmm.
people criticize or treat her like she doesn't matter. So she finds it hard to have a good opinion of herself. So instead, what she does is she lets other people's opinions to define her. So what can people like this do? Like people who let other people define like what kind of a person they are.
Hmm,
So
hmm, hmm.
they have, I think, lower
Very true.
self-esteem also. So they are basically
Yeah.
looking for validation in others that if I did something right or something wrong and they don't get it, so that the problem arises. Yeah.
Yeah, I got your point, Ishita, but it's a very beautifully framed and very relevant. So we can say that many children, basically, adolescent children, is a victim to this point which you have raised me just now. It's very important to train the young adolescents, specifically the young adolescents, because they are the future of the country. So here I
Mhm.
would say self-validation, we should train them. It's a skill. The responsibility lies in us who deal with them, who deal with the youngsters. That
Yeah.
self-validation is what? It is nothing but accepting your internal experiences, your accepting your thought process, accepting your belief system. What did Swami Vivekananda tell? I love this. All the power is within you. You can do anything and everything that you want. I really love it. Huh?
I'm a big
Like
fan of it.
yes, so strong a sentence. You just see all the power is within you. You can do anything and everything you want. So why I should wait for somebody else to validate me? Why I
Yeah.
should wait? That self confidence, if others, you wait for others to give it to you. If you have someone like that, bingo again, nothing like it. You are a very fortunate person. But everyone may not be fortunate to have such a person who will give the push or who will support you. There are certain times when you tend to feel that I do not have anyone to approach to. So the
Yeah.
the training that we give to the youngsters for self-validation during these situations is that it's normal to feel that way. It's normal. It's okay. So these sort of sentences, we say that my friendship, it's okay to cry sometimes. It's okay to feel low sometimes. I'm making progress. It's absolutely fine. I may be slow compared to the rest of my friends, but it's okay. Why will I wait for somebody else's approval? When I know that I'm on the right track, I feel that I'm on the right track, and I have a tick mark from the persons who matter to me, why I need to wait for everyone's approval at all? So these
Yeah.
sort of sentences, it's a good job that I have done. May not be perfect, but I have tried my best. These
Right.
sentences, my self-worth is not based on other people's opinion. Very assertively, very strongly, if we train up students to say such sentences to oneself, it may take time, but the time will come when their self-confidence will be so good that they will not wait for others' approval. Okay, so it is very important. I trust my instincts. I like myself. I like this quality of mine. You did not announce it in front of others, but to yourself. Keep on saying this when you feel that you are a victim
Yeah.
in this area.
Positive
Isn't
self-talk,
it?
right?
Positive self-talk and self affirmation. These affirmative
Yeah.
sentences are like miracles. Hmm?
Yeah. And someone here is saying that life skills should be, a part of the school curriculum, so right from the primary school. So, what is your take on that?
Oh, very true. Very rightly said.
Yeah, very true.
Why I tell you, nowadays into last from the COVID time, from March, say from April onwards till now, my hats off to CBSE. CBSE has done wonders in this area. We are having rigorous online programs for teachers on all the perspectives of life skills. So all the teachers, I can say in all the schools, they are very much aware of these life skills. And in the curriculum of the imparting of the lessons, normally we take 3, 4 life skills, and in many books, it's already a part of the chapters and part of the curriculum where we have life skills. And through the life skills, we take the chapters to the students. And sometimes questions are also framed on the base 1 or 4 marks or 3 marks questions where the student has to apply life skills and write the answers. So it is very much there, and students, I feel, are also taking benefit out of this particular package of life skills. Hmm?
Thank you
Got
so
it?
much, ma'am. It was, yeah, yeah, and it was so wonderful talking to you. Very informative session it was, and thank you so much for coming here. And
Yeah.
I will just wind up this session and hand
Yeah.
over to the
Before that,
next
Ishita,
session.
I
Yeah,
would just
yeah,
like
yeah,
to tell one thing, just winding up, that
yeah,
just
yeah.
remember, and I would like to tell all the youngsters also that through a song, okay, that we come down to our age, from our age, and always, even to 10 and 12 students, sometimes I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, apply life skills in your life, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, never let them go again. Okay, that is my mantra. And always with that, I end up my sessions, specifically with the adolescents. Over to you.
Okay, such a lovely jingle you ended our session with, and it was just amazing interacting with you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I will just
Thank
hand
you.
over to the next speaker and psychic lead since we are already out of time. So thank
Right.
you, the audience also. Thank you.
Thank you, Isita. So nice talking with you. And thank you to the
Same here.
organizers. Thank you.